Okay, so I don't know where I've been for the past 3 months, but back in June, Notarize, which is the biggest like RON platform in the world, I'm gonna just claim it to be so, announced that they were going to be launching Proof, which is a new platform and company for digital identity verification. And then in September, which is this month, all of Notarize's business tools and their name are going to be rebranded to say Proof. So starting this month, Notarize, as you know it, will not exist. It's going to be all changing to Proof. And I'm like, how did I not know that? Like, where have I been where I have not been paying attention to what is going on with that? But anyways, you probably know more about it than I do since I'm late to the ball. But I'm going to go ahead and just talk through what that means, what it looks like, what is going on, just in case you're in the same boat as me and have no clue what is happening. Okay, so what exactly is Proof? Let's just start from the beginning. So like I mentioned, it's both a new platform and it is a new company. And at first I thought maybe Notarize like acquired them or they're partnering in some sort of way. It just sounded like Notarize created it on their own and they're going to be transitioning their business all kind of under one roof. But when you read online, it's considered a identity assured transaction management platform, which is a freaking mouthful. But what it is, it's just aimed to help address gaps in online identity verification. And so it looks like Notarize really created it to help not just be in the notarization business, but also help get consumer identity verification in each and every transaction, not just the ones that need notarizations. So if you read online, Notarize will always say it's not in the notarization business. It's in the business of creating trust, right? And the idea is that notarizations help create documents of trust, but why would you not want that same level of trust and care in all transactions, all important transactions, not just the ones that need notarization? And I mean, that's fair, right? If you think about all of the important documents in your life, or like all the documents that you sign online that don't require a notarization, that have to do with some of the biggest moments in your life, and how easy it would be if somebody got like your email or access to some of your stuff to go in and forge your signature, it's insane. And so it's like, how do you bring some of that same care that you would get with a notarized document into some of those transactions? Because I just bought a house actually, and the amount of documents I signed online without them having to verify, if it was me who was signing it or whatever the case, was absolutely insane. Anybody could have forged my signature. Anybody could have like went in and pretended to be me. And so it's a way to make sure that, the people on the other receiving end feel comfortable knowing that who signed it is the person that they are, and you to feel comfortable knowing that nobody can go in and forge your signature. And so the plan is that's really where Proof comes in. So Proof locks in legally binding evidence to help create these trusted records. And a proof is a smart transaction that executes the documents according to whatever regulations and policies apply to said transactions. And so it offers like a number of different services. And an example of some of the services it offers are verification of identity using biometric tech. So for example, scanning selfies to make sure they match ID photos, 24/7 human verification of identity and signature verification to ensure that the person signing is who they actually are. Proof also looks out for fraud risks in each transaction, kind of in the same way that credit cards are monitored. So for example, if a signature looks like it may be forged, Proof will actually flag it for review. So if a signer doesn't pass Proof's like automated identity verification by going through the biometric screening and by going through the ID verification and by going through a number of these things, it actually will flag it and have a human do a manual review on that ID verification. And guess who those humans will be in this case? They'll actually be utilizing Notarizes, more than 4,000 on-demand notaries, to help do these manual reviews of identification. And I know that's interesting, but I will get into that in a second. So let's move on. Now, one of the questions that you have, because I definitely had it too, was, well, what does that actually mean for Notarize and what does that mean for notaries? Well, you can breathe a sigh of relief because after reading, they made it very clear that Notarize, as you know it and love it, really isn't going anywhere. Yes, the name is changing, but it's still going to continue to serve the notary community. It's still going to push for policies to make notarizations and doing RONs legal in all 50 states. It's still going to be a leader within the notarization space. So if you're currently using the Notarize platform as an on-demand notary or on the enterprise side or on the bring your own transaction side, you will continue to be able to do so. They say, and I quote, Our ambitions with Proof will not overshadow our commitment to the Notarize community. Notarize will still remain a core component of Proof and will be known as the enterprise notary network and community driving the digital economy forward. All that to say, it'll be right there, just under a different URL and under a different name. Remember, what Proof is offering is supposed to be an add-on. It's not supposed to be a replacement. And we'll get into it when I talk about the notary side of it, but it really does sound like notaries are going to be a huge part in making Proof successful. So they need to be invested in y'all to make sure that you can be invested in them. So there's a lot that will play into it on the notary side. So the next logical question is, well, why would Notarize want to do this in the first place, right? Like, I have to imagine that they're pretty darn successful with just doing notarizations. But if you really think about it, they've been like in the forefront of innovation when it comes to created trusted documents, and this really isn't any different. I know that the first real estate closing online was done through Notarize, the first auto sale online was done through Notarize, and the first will done online was done through Notarize. So they've always kind of been in the forefront. And now the first, online identity verification platform with the human element will be created by Notarize through this new platform called Proof. And so if you think about it, we're in an ever increasing digital age, right? We're pretty much everything is transacted online. There's going to be a point where most things are transacted online, but with technology and software and AI where it is easier than ever for people to be able to forge documents and create fraudulent identities and just not be who you think they are, who they seem to be. And in order to really get around that and create a sense of confidence when it comes to these online transactions, like, you need to have the proper infrastructure in place to give, lawmakers and consumers and businesses the confidence that if they are going to go online, they're going to be fully protected. And that's really where Proof is supposed to come in and help really address that issue. And so Notarize is building like a marketplace of secure online transactions. So from basic notarizations to real estate closings to enterprise solutions and now to identity verification. And so they're going to continue to build on that and really grow that. But I also love what this is going to mean for the notary. So let's get into that part. So I read a blog about Proof and about the change. And one of the things the CEO of Notarize said was they really want to reimagine the role of the notary, right? Like, every document legally doesn't need a notarization, but every document could really benefit from what it takes to complete a notarization. So proof of signer identity, proof of understanding, proof of intent, right? And that really makes notaries uniquely qualified to perform these transactions because that's what you're trained to do. You're already trained to look at those things. And so now that Notarize wants to transition into a marketplace where they're offering a bunch of different things to create trusted documents, now businesses can connect with notaries not only to do a notarization or to do a real estate closing or to perform business transactions, they can also connect with the notary in order to do identity verification on documents that don't need a notarization. And if you're confused, don't worry, so am I. So I'm going to try to break it down a little bit better. So how exactly does the notary fit in to this space? So for those transactions that don't need a notarization, but they do need identity verification, they will go through an automated identity verification process. Now, in the event that they can't pass that for whatever reason, there's something that's flagged or something that doesn't make sense or whatever, they will actually be connected with a notary who will be referred to in those moments as a trusted referee to help manually review those identity verification or manually review the ID and then help complete that transaction. So what exactly is a trusted referee? So a trusted referee really is just like an individual or an organization that is trusted to vouch for the identity of the person signing and make sure that the relying party understands that that person is who they say they are, which is what you already do as a notary, right? You're looking at the ID, you're matching it to the person you're talking to, you're making sure that they are coherent, they understand, they are who they say they are, right? It's already part of something that you do. Now you're just going to do it without the notarization side tied to it. Now, a trusted referee actually does not have to be a notary. It can be a notary. It can also be like a lawyer, a doctor, or a professional who's held to a certain standard of trust. and is really regarded within the community. So people know that when they say somebody is who they say they are, they trust that that is actually accurate. Now, as a notary on the Notarize platform, I would say this is great news, right? Because in addition to the notarization volume that you're already getting, you'll now also get e-sign volume that you previously didn't have and honestly didn't require you to be a part of at all. But now you'll get both of those different volumes and transactions to hopefully bring in more business for you and obviously more money. And I know that Proof or Notarize is going to be launching a trusted referee program soon for you guys to be able to sign up and get a part of and all of that information. I couldn't find it online, so it may already be launched, but I do know that opportunity is coming down the pipeline, but there wasn't a ton of information on there. So there's going to, of course, be training, and they're going to teach you guys how exactly to go through and do this identity verification when it doesn't require a notarization. But from what I kind of read, it seems like it's first going to be available to those notaries that are on the on-demand side of the platform. So the notaries that currently already do business that Notarize provides them, it sounds like those are the notaries that are going to be a part of the Trusted Referee program. But who knows? Maybe that expands to different states, right? Maybe they open it up to a broader audience in a way that they didn't do the notarization side. So stay tuned. And I also don't know what that looks like in terms of pay and volume and all that. So I imagine when everything is fully launched and fledged out, we'll get a little bit more of that information, but I am definitely looking forward to that. I look forward to anything that's going to bring more business into a notary's pocket, bring more business into your business, because at the end of the day, you do this to make money, and anything to keep you busy is helping you make more money. And I think this is going to be a huge part of that. Now, one thing they did allude to also is they're going to try to find a way to be able to have independent notaries take advantage of this identity verification as well, if you want to offer that as a service to your own clients. So as of right now, it's only set up for people who are coming directly to the Proof platform to get this sort of ID verification with the human touch. But soon enough, they're going to find a way for you to be able to do that and market that for your own clients will also help expand your business. So stay tuned, because more to come. It really is a win-win for everybody, right? Because Proof really gets to take advantage of Notarize's already existing notary network to provide that human element to this ID verification transactions. And then notaries get the opportunity to have more business and get more transactions by doing this ID verification. And then businesses obviously benefit from the efficiency and trust that comes from this sort of identity verification. So everybody wins, at least as that's what it sounds like. And I'm curious to see it, right? Because it's like, I'm not on the enterprise side really. And so I'm trying to figure out like, what is the appetite from businesses to have an offering like this? Will this be the next big thing? Like, if you think about it, nobody knew Ron was going to blow up in the way that it did. Obviously, there was a catalyst to that with the pandemic, but still, like maybe ID verification with this human touch is the next huge thing, and that becomes a big source of the transactions that you guys have. We really don't know. And so what are the important dates that you need to remember kind of as this fleshes out and as this transition happens? Well, September 14th is when everything seems like it's going to happen. So September 14th, if you go on Notarize, it'll now automatically transition you over to proof.com. So if you go on Notarize to do your normal stuff, that URL will now direct you over to Proof for you to be able to continue whatever you were doing on that site. Also, over the next couple of weeks, especially on September 14th, all of their internal branding, obviously their name, their logo will change to be Proof. So really it looks like the website for the most part will look the exact same, but with Proof's colors and fonts and branding and things like that. So it doesn't look like it's going to change so much in terms of like where things are and what the buttons look like. Mainly just the branding will change, and obviously the name will change, and that'll happen in September 14th, which is only like a week away, a couple weeks away. So that is going to be huge, and I'm excited to see what that looks like and all that it entails. But obviously, my question is always, what do you think? This is huge for me, because I'm like, I don't know, this is the first time I'm ever hearing of it. But it's a big change, and it's a big change from the biggest player, right? Which is not something you see often. Like we've seen time and time again, platforms changing and evolving and changing their offerings and stuff. That happens all the time, especially from smaller platforms, never from the biggest platform out there. So I think that's going to be a huge thing. Let me know what you think. Good, bad, what questions do you have? I feel like the biggest thing is going to be like getting over like not calling it notarized and starting to call it proof, like that's going to take me a while to go from calling it notarized to calling it proof. I know I'm going to mess that up for forever. I'm going to have to say like notarized / proof for like the next few months, but I'm excited to see what that looks like. Leave all your comments below. They have a great tutorial on what it will look like from both the trusted referee side and the signer side when it comes to these ID verifications that require a notary to go in to help complete it. I will post that link below in the description. Check it out because it does run through it. It looks super smooth. It looks just like a notarization without the notarization side. But go ahead and click that link and it'll provide a lot of context on what those transactions will look like. As always, thanks for watching my video and I'll catch you in the next one.